We're looking at the announcement we got from the National Assembly. Results in 35 out of 44 bills were indeed approved by the state houses of assembly. But the one that a lot of people, most people probably had their eyes on, was autonomy for local government councils. That did not, meet with the favor of the state houses of assembly. So that's what we're looking at now. And our guest is Fred Okey, Nzeako, a lawyer and development economist. Just before I come to you, Fred, Yahaya has called in from Lokoja. Good morning, Mr. Yahaya.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. You know the local government system, most don't even know the function. Why? Because the state governors have already adjust the system of the local government. Look at this law, just like the last caller just. Look at this law issues. I think the finance is being directed to the local government. All these things of channels, and drainages, people who will take care of some things that used to block all this water flow will be done by the local government. Even this insecurity that we are talking about. Those hunters, they are hunters in the local government system. There is hunters. All these hunters will be taken care of by the local government. They will finance them, and they will take care of the communities. But the governors, they've adjusted the resources of the local government. The local government now is being standardized. You cannot even pay salaries. People who are working like the teachers, the local government cannot pay them salaries. That is why we have poor education in the local government system. So if the autonomy will be given to them directly, I think they will have a lot of money to take care of all these drainages, bridges, construction of street roads, employing people that will work in the local government system. Now, man, we don't even have people that are even working in the local government system.
Yeah.
If you go to the offices there, nobody.
Well,
nobody, because there is no finance to take care of the resources.
Yeah, as you say, Yahaya, they will have a lot of money. Perhaps that exactly is what is making the governors apprehensive that a lot of money in people's hands, they're not emasculated anymore. They can work off their own bat, and perhaps there are reasons to believe that the governments don't want that. The governors, I beg your pardon, don't want that. Fred Okey Nzeako is our guest this morning, and he's related to this particular aspect of it earlier in his presentation. That the governors, in fact, as Senator Agege actually bemoaned the fact that governors sort of combined and interfered, and they said it was regrettable that they were doing so. So we're not getting the kind of thing that we should be getting from our lawmaking process. Fred, back to you. The gentleman who called in from Lokoja, Yahaya, he's also bemoaning the fact that there's so much that can be done by local governments, but how competent are they? What is the caliber of people there? Might that be a consideration for the governors to feel that, no, we can't let such power go to those people directly? They will be uncontrollable. Maybe if they were of the highest caliber of people, we might have a different kind of argument. Is that a relevant way of thinking at all, Fred?
Any governor that is saying any governor that is expressing such sentiment is not being honest, because there are very good people at the local government level. And if not for the emasculation and the strangulation of local government authority and the finances by the state governors, even more people with better capacity and better efficiency, people with better intelligence, people with robust ability will now become interested in working at the local government level. But what the governors do is that they do selection at the various government houses, and they just decide who to appoint caretaker committee chairman or who to elect in usually charade elections that are held, which they call local government elections. And by so doing, they don't like vibrant people, they don't like activists, they don't like people who will ask questions, they don't like people who will want to liberate the local government. They appoint their stooges and their yes men to man and handle local government affairs, such that whatever they give them as handouts, they will just go and manage at local government level, and the rest of the money goes to the state. Do you know that for the chairman of the local government, for example, to embark on any major project he has to get approval from the governor, and not only get approval, it is the governor or the commissioner working for the governor that will determine.
Okay, Kesandu is standing by in Owerri. Good morning to you, Kesandu.
I agree to Happy New Year, sir.
Indeed, compliments of the season to you too. Thank you for calling.
I wish you. Uncle Yuri, I want to say that no right-thinking and responsible person will take away the importance of the local government system. That is one. So I want to also sympathize with this group of people who actually came together to say no to our democracy, especially the Imo State House of Assembly. I want to say that Imo people, we have spoken in one voice that we're highly disappointed that they could vote against the local government autonomy. And you straight to the point. You see, it is quite disheartening and unfortunate that at this time of our lives as Nigerians, that we want to have a paradigm shift from what we are practicing and what ought to be done in the country. It is so disheartening and unfortunate that at this time of our life, when we want to say that we must take back our country, that we must change the scheme of things in this country, some persons have sworn that Nigeria will remain the way it is or even dwindle. Let me also say this. This has gone to show us the characters of some of these people that have called themselves governors and members of the State House of Assembly. And you see, somebody wrote a piece and said, we the people are the demons of democracy. We have another opportunity now because we have seen these characters actually came together and said no to local government autonomy. And some of them are seeking second term. Some of them want to go re-election. Is it not our responsibility as a people now to stand up and defend the local government now? This is the time. In your various federal constituencies and your state constituencies, people running for governorship, these are pertinent questions we must ask anybody who is coming to run for governorship. You must sign for us that you are going to support the local government autonomy because we must build it back. So I am pleading to Nigerians. Nigerians, it is unfortunate that these people who are infinitesimal in number that have come together from the coalition to rip us off our development. Are the governors not aware that local government autonomy and the local government system is the easiest access to the common man in my place? Are they not aware? Now look at what is happening in Imo State. When the governor came in, he told us he's going to conduct local government election that he's not going to do with the sole administration. But what is happening in Imo today? It is just about sole administration. And I know it's happening in so many states. So I am appealing to our Nigerians. We had a golden opportunity from February 25th to March to actually bring in men and women of impeccable character because my alma mater says when character is lost, all is lost. It's unfortunate that this is the function of character. Let us be men and women of impeccable character that can help us and stand on their feet and say no to some of these governors who have actually sworn to be architects of our misfortune in this country. So in Nigeria is possible, we are ready to take back our country and we must return back the local government system. God bless us.
Thank you very much, Kesandu, calling in from, I believe it was already there. Fred, so where we are at now, what exactly does this do for the development and strengthening of democracy in our country? Because I imagine what we're talking about now, the complaints we have about local government autonomy missing the boat, so to speak, it's not about one party or the other. It seems to be the way across board the political parties. So what does this do, or perhaps not do, for strengthening our democracy? Okay.
Well, I agree completely with the last caller that the people need to stand up and defend the autonomy of the local government because the Constitution has not given it such defense. And that is why when we complain about the nature of 1999 Constitution as not being people's constitution, this is one of them. This is one of the major issues that has not allowed that Constitution to be development-oriented, especially at the grassroots. Because the same Constitution that created the local government system also emasculated it by way of handing over the authority, so to speak, to the hands of the state governors, who now use the manipulative instrument of the House of Assembly to deny the local government of its autonomy. So it's a big battle that must be fought by all Nigerians in order to extricate the local government from the stranglehold of the state governors. And if that is not done, then it is as well as forgetting local government system. But that is why when we talk about restructuring of Nigeria, and that is what Nzeako of PDP has been talking about, about restructuring, that one of the major things that will be done is to lobby the various governors to allow the states to have independence. And so many things will need to be done with respect to ensuring that our constitution is not only people-oriented constitution, but development-oriented constitution. Because Nigerian constitution as it is today does not allow for development at the grassroots. And that's one of the reasons why the governors are capitalizing on that to stifle.
Okay, let me take Ada in Jos. Good morning, Ada.
Good morning, Mr. Yoda, and good morning, Barrister Nzeako.
Yeah.
Ada calling from Jos Plateau State. Let me tell you something, Mr. Yoda. You know I've said it times without number. This character we are talking about is not just all about character. The white man behaves himself not because of the pigmentation of his skin. It's the laws in their land. If not, they want to open the defecate, you know? What am I trying to say? You know, if we cannot strengthen our institutions, this problem of local government autonomy will continue this way. Since your guest, Barrister Nzeako, even mentioned that it has been done once, you know, and that is when the checks were separated, the checks when it was separated. Why can't you follow that way now for now? That is, there are many ways to kill a rat, you know. We can't continue like this. Now, what if we practice fiscal federalism? Because we have a structural defect in Nigeria. That is the problem. All these people that are coming in saying that they will do this, they do that. If we don't address this issue of the structural defect and practice fiscal federalism, they cannot do anything. Put me anyway, they can't. You know, you can't use something on nothing. That is the problem we are having. No. You know, that is the laws of the land. It controls people's behavior. It helps to, regulate people's behavior. Why would the governors do what they are doing if we don't find a way around it? Then the citizens again, us, we are a problem. We can take back our local government if we are really serious about it. When they now see that we are on we raise our voices, they will have this routine. You know, it cannot continue like this. It's a third tier of government. Let us practice fiscal federalism and all this nonsense will stop. All the same, let's not give up on Nigeria.
All right, then. Thank you very much for calling in, Ada Ogadima. I hear that phrase every time Ada comes on. It will be well, I believe, is what it means. Fred, there you see, we have it there. We are suffering through, as it were. I mean, when I say we, that's from people who are advocates of the strengthening and deepening of democracy, perhaps such as your very good self. But it's not the way it is. And it's not about one party or the other. It seems to be all the parties that are like this. And that's why state houses of assembly could not return, you know, the kind of what people would have thought is logical. So what is the illogicality as far as the state houses of assembly are seeing it, apart from the fact that you pointed out already that, no, they just want everything under the control of the governor so that everybody shall be perhaps from their own party? Because if things were to be free and fair and democratic and we could go to the polls, then you might have a mixture of people within those local government councils. But what you know happens is that if the government and the governor are from party A, then he wants every member of the local government council to also be a card-carrying member of party A, and so on. I don't know how helpful this is for the development, or shall we say, deepening of democracy.
The worrisome part of it is what you have highlighted, because the various state governors use the local government system as a very robust instrument in deepening the stranglehold of the party in the state. Take, for example, by the time the chairman of local government is appointed by the governor, he is accountable to the governor. All the councillors appointed by the governor, they are all accountable to the governor. And then the governor will find it easy to use these men and women to reach the grassroots, because they are now more or less like extension of the office of the governor, instead of being a third tier of government.
Exactly.
And that is why even when they try to hold the election is usually a charade, manipulated and won, in some cases 100% by members of the governor's party, in which case it is not an election, it is a selection.
Indeed. One moment, please. One moment, Fred. Let me bring on Barrister, your learned colleague, Barrister Kajo in Abuja. Good morning to you, Barrister Kajo.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes. Yes, I just wanted to make a comment on this issue of local government autonomy.
Sure.
You see, we in Nigeria, we believe that governors should have too much powers in their states. When local governments, for instance, in the first instance, we should know, are a creation of the Constitution. And they were created to serve as a third tier of the government, not as an appendage to the state governments. State governors are not answerable to anybody, yet they operate. So local government chairmen are not supposed to be answerable to state governors. As a creation of the Constitution has made adequate provisions to provide for checks and balances. And so a local government chairman should not be answerable to a state governor. In a democracy, power resides with the people. And so
Barrister Kajo, I beg your pardon for interrupting you, Barrister Kajo. Our very first caller thought that this situation is something of a problem where the local government chair is not accountable to anyone if there is independence. And he feels that these are laws that, if we were to make them strong, cannot work in our society. So perhaps in saying what you're saying, could you relate to that?
Yes, they can. That's what I was trying to. Yes, that's where I'm going to.
Please continue.
Yes, they can, because the Constitution has made adequate provisions for this. There are checks and balances. A state governor is checked by the House of Assembly. And so if the state assembly are not doing what they are supposed to do, it's a different ballgame altogether. But then the state assembly are supposed to check the excess powers of the state governors. And then the judiciary is there too. If anything if the state governors are proven to be too stubborn, the judiciary should call them to order. And then the people should call the state governors to be answerable to them. It is for us as a people to make sure these state governors are answerable to us, and not for us to make them answerable to someone else. And the same thing should apply to local government chairmen. An executive local government chairman should be answerable to the people. The people have the power to call the state and local government chairmen to be answerable to them. They have representatives in the local government legislative assembly, which is the council of councillors, and they have the powers through their councillors to call the local government chairman to order when they are going astray. And so this issue of saying local government autonomy will not work in Nigeria should not arise. It should arise, because in a democracy, power should reside with the people. So we don't have a wrong notion that because the control the state governors are exerting over the local government is even creating more problems for us. You go to local governments now, no development. Money comes in, the state governor sits on it. Sometimes they just call this local government chairman to the state capital. They just tell them this is what was brought for you. They sign a paper, and then they tell the accountant general of the state, or whatever they call them, to just release a patronage sum to them. Sometimes the money released to the state local government chairman is not even enough to take care of the salaries of their workers. And it has become more problematic. No local government is even constructing a culvert now. When I was a child, in our local governments were constructing roads, they were building bridges, they were taking good care of their primary schools and things like that. But these things are no longer there, and it's not all going well for us. So there is need to make local governments financially and legislatively autonomous.
Okay.
That would be a better way for us to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barrister Kajo, calling in from Abuja. For a while there, Fred, you were out, courtesy of the drifting signals, but you're back with us now. And, I wish you had heard your learned brother, the case he made, that he is not impressed with the idea of local government councils can't be active and do the right thing. The whole matter about accountability, though, that our first caller George, calling in from Lagos, had made was that it's not going to be a doable situation because they must be under somebody. Well, Kajio has said that the people, they are accountable ultimately to the people. And so I want you to look at that. Just as George felt that it can't work simply because there's this whole matter about accountability. The governors want to be sure that everything is, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. In other words, let it be said, they don't trust them. They
the
don't trust
themselves
them.
are not headmasters, Yori.
Okay, sorry, let me come back to you. Let me quickly include Paul, who has called in from Adamawa in addition. So please answer the two together. Good morning, Mr. Paul in Adamawa.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead quickly, please.
Yeah, the issue of this local government autonomy, my brother, we just pray that the president should do something very reasonable on it. Because, hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Please continue. We can hear you.
I pray, Koi, that the federal government and the president should assent onto that bill, because I have a friend who happens to be a local government administrator, and I was asking him when I was watching Peter Obi was campaigning. He said, "Do you know that over 100 million is sending to your local government? Can your local government account for that?" I call him like joke. I say, "My brother, this thing where Peter Obi they say 100 million is due sent to you and you're not doing anything. Can you justify this thing?" And he began to tell me, "My brother, it's a pity. We are only called in the state capital to sign what we are not received." So I just pray that things should work well, that the federal government should do as much as possible to grant the local government autonomy so that the development can reach to the grassroots.
Okay, Paul, I beg your pardon. I've run out of time, but thank you very much for that contribution. I think we have the gist of it. Switching over to you, Fred, closing now. He was just saying that he really hopes that in spite of this setback, if one can call it that he hopes that the president steps in.
In spite of the setback, there is, I can tell you very honestly that there's nothing Mr. President can do because it's a constitutional matter. The very best they can do is to lobby the State House of Assembly to ensure that this passes. But now that APC is in the majority, these are some of the things that he can do. Go through your governors to reach out the State House of Assembly to ensure that there is autonomy to local government, and that is by giving their accent to at least 2/3 of the states of the federation.
Okay.
Giving their accent to the legislative work done by National Assembly.
All right, Fred. Fred, I'm afraid we've run out of time.
Section 7.
We've run out of time.
Section 7 of the Constitution.
Yes.
And without autonomy of local government, we cannot expect much at that tier of government.
Thank you very much, Fred. Okay, Nzeako. We've run out of time completely. As always, thank you for making time for us. Well, we didn't get a chance to talk about those that were actually, assented to by the states. The 35 out of the 44 is the one that is sort of obvious. It wasn't assented to, and a lot of people were keeping their eye on that. So it is what it is. We'll see how it can go. As Fred has just pointed out, it's a constitutional matter. The president can hardly come into it anymore. Well, we'll talk about this more, I'm sure. In the meantime, join us tomorrow, please, for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folare. Bye-bye for now.